Hello everyone, how's it going? Let's do an audio check first before we get all too excited about a new console, a new handheld. How's everyone going? Hello Marcus. Yep, same, I just bought mine as well. Let me know you guys what you guys got. Which version did you get? Did you get the 16 gigabyte, the 64 gigabyte? Did you get the black or the gray? Hello Alan, how's it going? So what we're going to do today is a really chill session for anybody who wants to share their experience buying the console, what they were thinking about, like whether they were going to go with an RG552 or whether they were going to go with something else. What was your thought process like? Just chuck it down in the chat and then we can get some conversation going. But for me personally, yeah, obviously running the channel, I was going to pick up a couple of handhelds, and normally I wouldn't get a whole bunch of handhelds because if I get one, that usually covers me for a lot of games anyways. So if I was just to get one, this time around, I probably would have just got the Odin. So let's be clear about that. But with the Anbernic RG552, I love all of the previous Anbernic consoles. And so I really wanted to cover it also because there are a lot of people watching the channel for the RG552 content. I felt like a lot of people wanted to see what it was about. So I felt like I needed to buy that console, and also I wanted it as well. But I think at $220, it probably was a little bit too expensive for if I was just a fan. But I had to get it anyway for the channel. And yesterday I made a video about the price, and we'll talk a little bit more about the price in just a second. But I said at the end of the video that I might be getting a review unit. They still haven't talked to me about that at all. So who knows? I may not be getting one, but I did order one just now. So I got the 16 gigabyte with black, and I ended up getting the US charger. And actually I needed the UK charger, but that's okay because I plan to, if I get a review unit in, then this would become the second unit, so that I have two, and then I would give one away. So I'll just give that US one away. So you guys will be getting a black 16 gigabyte US charger one. So let's go to the chat. I'm waiting till after Christmas. Right, okay, yeah, definitely, like, you know, it makes a lot of sense. The reviews will probably start rolling in maybe a week or two. I know a couple of other reviewers who already have their unit already sent, so it's on the way for them. So I'm expecting they'll probably take a week or so to review it. So reviews should start coming in a couple of weeks, I think. Alan Clark, need to see its performance first. Yeah, exactly right. And we know that it's a Rockchip 3399. So it'll be okay. We've seen it running Tekken and also God of War. So I think in terms of PSP, if it can run God of War reasonably well, and that scene is particularly demanding at the start, I think you'll find that a lot of the other PSP games are going to work. It's hard to say exactly what, because we've just had the X18S, but the X18S is a fair bit stronger, I would say, in terms of processor. So it's really hard to tell. But X18S, you can play some GameCube games already, whereas I think on the Rockchip 3399, I'm just taking a total guess here, but I think it's probably, if you can play, it'll probably be like a couple of titles at best. So I don't think you really have to think too much about GameCube. If a few titles play, that's great, but really it's not even going to get to X18S, which doesn't play the complete library of GameCube anyway. And when I say complete library, you're looking at like a lot of the titles that you usually want to play, right? Like you want to play things like say Rogue Squadron 2, for example, or Metroid Prime. So it's X18S isn't going to play those. So for that, you probably need to get the Odin. Alan Clark, so Z Huang, how you going? How long does it take if I choose free shipping to the States? So I would say a couple of weeks. That's based on, I don't live in the States, by the way, so I don't really know, but just judging from what a lot of other people have said, with ordering consoles and getting stuff from China, I would say a couple of weeks there, so 2 weeks there. And then the fast shipping, you're probably looking at a week, so you'd probably save a week there. Alan Clark, it's around £184 UK price, so really more than I wanted to pay. Yeah, it is. It is expensive, and I made a video yesterday explaining my thoughts about like what I think is going on here. There's so many factors going into the price. It's hard to say whether they just wanted to jack up the price and they're just sitting on a whole bunch of consoles in their warehouse and not going to sell them, and they're just going to sell it at this price. I don't think they're going to do that, because like if you do the maths for this, let's say each console costs $100 to make and it's like $200. They're selling it for 200 bucks. Let's say it costs $100 to make, and they could sell 20,000 consoles. So like, what is that? I'll just quickly pull up this. It's like $2 million, I think. So 10,000 consoles at $200, sorry, at $100, I should say. Let's do that. 10,000 consoles at $100 is $1 million. And it could be 20,000 consoles that they're making. So it's $1 million, $2 million. That's not easy to bankroll for a smaller company. And a lot of people think, oh, they're probably making bank with all of this stuff. And it's true, they probably are. But we're talking about cash flow here. So a lot of people don't just have like $1 million, $2 million just sitting in the bank. Maybe like the very wealthy people do and all that sort of stuff. I don't really know. But like, I think, yeah, if you don't want to get your price wrong. And so I think, sure, they're going to charge a little bit higher, but they also don't want to make too much supply. If they make too much supply, then they also have a problem as well. They can't sell them, and then they're going to have to reduce the price for that. So you see, like, a lot of people are complaining a little bit, I guess, that the expected price was going to be like $150, and then now it's suddenly $220. There's a lot of factors going into it. Maybe they didn't want to make that many, so they wanted to keep the supply low and then see how it goes first. So who knows? And then when they made the order for the processors, maybe they thought, oh, now there's suddenly a lot of demand. Well, we've only got this number of consoles. Well, what are we going to do? Well, they're going to increase the price, because otherwise, if they don't increase the price, then on the secondary market, that other people will increase the price. And I talked about this in my video yesterday, but I think I went a bit quickly because I did say, I made the example of PS5s and bots and scalpers thing. I don't necessarily think bots and scalpers will take all of the stock here, but what I'm saying is that at some point the price will find its way to its natural market price. Whether it's resellers doing that, maybe resellers will buy a whole ton of consoles because everybody is starting to buy this up. So what Anbernic is really doing is just trying to set the right market price. And I think they went a bit high just to test out what's going on. And then obviously they're going to reduce the price if it doesn't sell. But yeah, as always, I think a lot of the times initial runs of consoles, people are a little bit more risk averse, so they don't make too many of them, and that also keeps the price high as well. Anyways, it's not that I'm defending the price at all, I'm just trying to explain what I think is going on. Okay, let's go back to the chat. That was a long answer, but Marcus Cross, I'm a sucker for Anbernic. I have all their consoles. My wife says I've gone a little crazy. Yeah, I get those looks as well from my wife. She doesn't actually say it. She has maybe mentioned it lightly a couple of times, but she also knows I run the channel. She made a comment as I was about to buy today because I asked her for a credit card, but only because for a backup, just in case my credit card didn't work. I said, can I borrow yours just in case mine doesn't work? Who knows what's going to happen? Like in the heat of the moment, it could all get sold out. So I just, yeah, I asked to borrow hers and she's like, what are you buying again? So yeah, it's a bit like that with retro handhelds. But she knows that I'm doing the channel and all that. And the last one I put to pretty good use, the PowerKitty X18S, got like 3 or 4 weeks of worth of content there. So I'm pretty happy about that. Still playing it lightly at the moment, but I am a little bit all tested out. So I kind of want to just have a week's break of testing before we get this Anbernic RG552 in. Okay. Magic VPN Torrents, how you going? Pushing Moonlight here, got the black, nice one. Yeah, actually, I kind of want to just test out Moonlight as well. I will probably end up using it for the Odin more than the RG552 here. What I really see this for is for PSP games. As much as I like PSP performance on the X18S, I think the form factor is, well, kind of a little bit weird for PSP. So this will suit PSP a lot more. Electro Arcade, how you going, Electro Arcade? Nice to see you here as well. If you guys don't know, Electro Arcade is a Australian reseller of the Anbernic, all the retro handhelds. So if you're in Australia and you want it straight away, why not check out Electro Arcade? And why not we just go to their website as well while we're here? Let's see if I can. Now, guys, I'm running with one screen today because I'm at home. So you'll just have to bear with me while I find things. So let's go to my browser. Okay, so, and also you're going to see this OBS thing pop up, and I'll put it in the background, but I do need it coming up sometimes. Okay, where are we? Electro. Can we get to Electro? Okay. Okay, so I believe this is it. This is Electro Arcade's website. Let's check this out. Okay, so here it is, the RG552. Now guys, the 339 is Australian dollars. Okay, so if we do that conversion, it's 238 US. So it's basically the same price, and also, you know, free shipping and all that. If you're in Australia, and you'll get it, I believe you'll get it earlier. I don't know, maybe you can let people know like when you're going to be shipping them. Electro Arcade, maybe you have like a date where you can only ship it after. Okay, so you're saying we expect to see them in mid-late December. Okay, it's going to be about the same time anyways. And I think if you're in Australia, why not give Electro Arcade a go and support these guys. By the way, I am Australian. I'm in Malaysia at the moment, and nobody in Malaysia is selling them. So I went through the Anbernic website. Okay. Expect shipping to take way over 2 weeks in current Christmas freight loads. So I'm wondering about that because it will be air freight. Maybe air freight will be longer too. Definitely, like if it was just by sea, then of course it'd be way longer. Like if you're talking about like, you know, Sony shipping consoles around the world and that sort of thing, and if they did it by sea, then that would take way longer. But yeah, I'd be curious to know if air freight would also be longer as well, because usually they say things like DHL will say 4 to 7 days, that type of thing. but yeah, definitely Christmas time is so bad in Australia in terms of shipping that a lot of places have already stopped or giving a guarantee of getting stuff before Christmas. And I know this website selling board games, and they said like, okay, you need to order before 9th of December to get your product before Christmas, which is like 2 weeks. And normally it's like 2 to 4 days shipping. Okay, so Job Arresto, how you going? It's too expensive for me. I think I will get the Retro 2 Plus after Christmas. I would still love to see the breakdown. No worries, Job. Yeah, I totally understand. I totally understand that this is more expensive than people initially first thought, and I get that. But one thing I will say is that Anbernic from time to time, they do have sales and things. So what you'll find is that they have this sales series up to 20% off. I believe I'm still on the browser, right? Okay, good. So as you can see, a lot of people bought this at $150, the RG351 MP, and now it's $127. You have things like the RG351P, which is a really good price at $85. This is my favorite Anbernic device because I just feel like the form factor, the screen size is a really good middle ground for everything. It's not perfect, like, you know, PSP, there's top and bottom black bars, and then for the 4:3 content you have sidebars, and really the perfect screen resolution or screen aspect ratio is Game Boy Advance only. But still, like, I really just like the size and everything about this console, so that's my favorite. I know other people like Retro Game Core, this is his favorite, RG280V. Such a small, compact little thing that you can easily fit in your pocket. That's $70. So they do have sales from time to time. So if Anbernic have a sale for like 10% off on RG552, it's down to $200. Still expensive, but it starts to get a little bit better. Okay, Alan Clark, well, that's why I'm waiting. Oh yeah, and then of course the Retro Pocket 2 Plus, that's a great console as well, and that's really good value for $100. Alan Chow, I pre-ordered the Retro Pocket 2 Plus. Should I have pre-ordered this one instead? It just depends on what you want. That's the thing. Like, do you want a 4:3 screen that is 3.5 inches that is a little bit smaller? Then you go for the Retro Pocket 2 Plus. But if you want something like a 5:3, which is kind of like a 16:9 screen, that is 5 inches big, that is very similar to that RG351P that plays PSP, well then I think this is better for PSP. So it all depends on what you want to do with your console the most. And there's no, people have to start, stop thinking about getting one console for everything. It's probably not going to ever work out like that. The closest thing I can think of is really like, if you want to get one for everything, probably the Odin. So that's probably where you should be looking at, because the processor performance is good, the form factor looks okay, it's a nice screen size for me. I think some people think it's a bit too big, like 6 inches big, 6 inches for the screen size. So yeah, it all depends on what you're looking at. And then of course the Odin, I guess it's a new company. You don't know whether the build quality is going to be good until people get it into their hands, like reviewers and stuff. So we really don't know. You're kind of ordering it with a little bit more risk than, say, if you order the RG552, for example. Okay. Daryl Edmund, how you going? I bought it black, 64 gigabytes. Nice. I hope you enjoy your RG552. In terms of the 16 and 64, I thought about getting the 64, and it was $10 for that 64 gigabyte card. And for me to get like a 128 gigabyte card is about $15 US. So that's why I went and got just the 16 gigabyte and got a separate micro SD card by itself for $15. So that's what I did. Magic VPN torrents, I still think the MP will sell like hotcakes because the price just dropped 20%, and a lot of people couldn't make up their mind on 552 versus 351 MP. Okay, so this one is easy for me, right? The 552 wins, no question, because you got a better processor. I mean, I'm assuming you're going to be able to play PSP, Dreamcast, and Nintendo 64, 3 systems that you can't play on that 351 MP. And also, I don't have, for me, metal or plastic, it doesn't matter which one. Some people prefer metal. I prefer the plastic because it's lighter. But yeah, it really depends on what you're after. But for me, because I don't mind whether it's metal or plastic, and I prefer that it can play more games, yes, you have to pay like, you know, what, another $70 more. But I think the 552 wins here. $70 for those 3 systems. I would rather go for that. And then of course it depends on like if you mind if it's bigger or you want something smaller. So yeah, a lot of people are just going to choose one based on their needs. Daryl Edmond Jr., do you think it will play Nintendo 64? Well, I have to test that. I played the X18S, which is a fair bit stronger, so that played Nintendo 64 pretty well. Not perfect, but only because the emulation isn't perfect. So I think it was like Mugen, FP, I can't remember exactly the emulator, but they're all more or less the same emulator, and they're all kind of like forks of each other. But the Nintendo 64 on X18S played pretty well, and then the issues were that it was emulation based rather than performance based. It's hard to say on the RG552 because the performance is a little bit lower. So I think, given that, I think if I was to guess, I would say, yeah, it's going to play Nintendo 64, given it also plays PSP, but you know, it's not a 100% lock, right? Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to turn the light on before the entire room goes dark. Just give me a second, and then I want to take a drink as well. All right, so let's do a quick check on the websites for RG552. So these are the sale products. So let's go and have a look here. Okay, so it's still going. Interesting. I think a lot of people thought it was a bit expensive. So it's interesting. I mean, of course, they don't say how much is in stock. Uh-oh. Select the shipping location of the bag to buy together. Save $12. Well, you should have told me beforehand. Damn it. I did not save the $12, which I would have really liked to. That's a bit annoying. But let's just consider that a tip for Anbernic. I wish I saw that beforehand. Guys, if you haven't bought your RG552 and you want the bag as well, select this option here and then you'll save $12 for your product. Unfortunately, I ended up going to the parts. I think I went to the parts area and selected the bag there. And don't do that. Don't go and select that. Go back and select and add it on in here, like both items. Okay, so it looks like nothing sold out yet. What we're gonna do, go back to, okay, this is a little bit easier because then I can see the chat a little bit easier. So we've got 31 viewers. That's fantastic. That is actually the highest that I've ever got. So if we can just do a bit of a subscriber run here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I have already purchased my RG552, so it will be featured on the channel. Then that way you will get more RG552 content in your feeds. And guys, if you haven't got a beverage, go get yourself a beverage so you can celebrate your RG552. Okay, we're up to Marcus Cross. I'm in Alabama, Southeast USA. Hopefully shipping won't take too long. Well, Electro Arcade was just saying, yeah, around Christmas time it's probably going to take longer. So who knows? 6th of December, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that Anbernic decided on this date so that we'd all get it before Christmas. And that would be really cool. That would be really something if we had a live stream and everybody had their RG552s. That would be awesome. EZG, someone has started posting gameplay of RG552. Yeah, I don't actually know if he actually has one. He does come out with a lot of, I guess, a lot of videos first. So subscribe to him if you haven't, because he'll come out with stuff first. Maybe he gets it from Bilibili or somebody in China, or he knows somebody from Anbernic. I don't know who DIY Game Mods is. The Rockchip 3399 is a 3 to 4 year old chip. Yeah, it's from 2016 or 2017. And yeah, it's an old chip that is on 28 nanometer. So I was a little bit worried to begin with. But obviously if it plays PSP, then I mean, it plays PSP. So it is what it is. What thing I want to test with this older chip is how well it does in terms of efficiency. Are we still going to get like decent battery life versus say something like an X18S? Let's test both of those together and see what your battery life is when you're playing the same game on PSP, for example. I think that would be really interesting as well. Okay, where are we? Where are we? Okay, Alan Chow. Australia Post says that normal parcel post is 13 December, but express post is 20th December for cutoff dates. Yep, yeah, exactly. So they give really long lead times just in case something goes wrong. I think they're kind of covering themselves a little bit. I would expect like the time to double. Say like, you know, if something would normally take 2 days, it might take 4 or 5 days. Yeah, so 13th of December to 25th of December, that's like 12 days. Yeah, I don't expect like normal posts like 2 to 4, you know, something that would take 2 or 4 days to end up taking 12 days. But yeah, they're kind of just covering themselves a bit. Magic VPN torrents, yes. RK99, that a lot of us will be hardcore deving for. Yep. Daryl Edmund Jr., what Android does the RG552 run on? Android 7.1. I don't really know too much about it. It's obviously a little bit older, so I think they're up to Android 11 now. So I think it's obviously like 3 or 4 years older. Again, I don't think it matters too much if you're an emulator type of person like I am. Like you just have PPSSPP on your system, you have Dolphin, and then yeah, it will work fine. It's really only if you want like the latest everything, and for that I'm not really too sure. To tell you guys the truth, I don't have an Android device, but I'm looking to get one. So I'm thinking about getting like a Poco F3 or a Poco X3 Pro, leaning towards the F3 for the time being, and for that way I will be able to emulate PS2 games on the Aether SX2 emulator. So, but I'm going to wait for 12.12 because that's going to be when we have sales. So I'll just wait and see if they give me like, you know, $50 off on the phone. If not, then I'll buy it after that. But yeah, I'm just going to wait for 12.12. I've got tons of things to do anyway, so I'm never really too worried if I don't get a console early. I know, like, you know, with views and things like that, you always want stuff early, but, you know, this is a small channel, so for me personally, it's not a big deal. It's just a hobby. Okay. I just brought the black 16GB, 64GB one. Nice one, Kirby. I hope you enjoy it. Alan Chow, wonder how Aether SX2 performs on it. On RG552. So I'm not even going to really play it on the X18S, the PowerKitty X18S, because I think like it's just I've heard that there are a few games that run on it and they run really well, but the library is just too small for me to like go and hunt down those games and play those games when I have a lot of other games to play. So for me on PlayStation 2, I have a bunch of games that I really want to play. And so to do that, I probably need to get like an SD870 or an SD860. But yeah, I don't think Aether SX2, I mean, you could play a couple of games, but that's probably about it. I agree, 552 beats MP. Yeah, I agree too. Marcus Cross, does it blend? What do you mean by that? Oh, right. Yeah, guys, if you put $225 into the super chat, I will blend it for you. Magic VPN torrents. When you say one for all system in the Odin, do you think the Odin Lite will meet that, or only the high Odins? Well, I say that because for me, I don't mind so much about the black bars that you get on the side. I know some people, they really want a 4x3 screen. So for me, I don't mind too much having those 4x3 things on the side. So I'm happy to play older games on the Odin. I'll play like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and that sort of thing on it as well as right up to GameCube. So that is why I say for me, I don't mind about the Odin. But obviously some people they love the 4x3 screen. So if you like that, then perhaps you want something like a Retro Pocket 2 Plus, for example. And there aren't actually that many screens, or actually that many handhelds that are much bigger than that for 4x3 screens. So yeah, you're kind of stuck either way if you want a little bit bigger 4x3 screen. Steve Riz, how you going? I'm in Oz, looking to get the 552. Have you heard of or ever used Electro Arcade? Hey, what's going on? You can ask him. You can ask the man right here in our chat. He's in our chat right now. So yeah, if you want, you can go and ask him. He's in our chat. I have not used them, but they're Australian. So yeah, you know. If you want to support Australian stores, yeah, I think why not give Electro Arcade a go? Coalition, what up, Jim? Hey, what's going on, Coalition? Thanks for joining the chat. Electro Arcade, I can't find the video, but there was a review showing gameplay on the 552. I can't find the video, but there was a review showing gameplay. I'm not sure which one that might be. There is one video from Anbernic. Maybe you guys have seen it. Let's play that for a little bit in the background. I won't turn the sound on. They're just speaking Chinese anyways. So, okay, Anbernic. Okay, so this is their, wow, look at this, 36,000 views in 3 days. That is crazy. That is totally crazy. Okay, wait. I'm juggling like everything on the one screen is super annoying. Normally I have 2 screens. Okay, let me see. All right, here we go. Okay, look at this. It's 36,000 views. Okay, we're going to turn the sound off. I've never seen this ad before. Okay, why don't we play that for a little bit? Okay, so let me just pull that. Sorry guys. Ah, crap. This way I can see the chat. Okay. I hope everything's okay. Yep, it's okay. And then I'll keep talking as this video is rolling. But this doesn't have gameplay, which I know you were asking about Electro Arcade. Okay, Nevo 1972, price is still off-putting, but I do love the handheld. Yeah, it is. And then I guess it will just come down in time. I don't know. It's probably not going to come down to $150 unless something catastrophic happens. Maybe they decide to make a ton of these. But the price, that's what they've decided to go for. Mister, if it runs Saturn games at full speed, it's a must-have handheld. I don't know for sure if it's going to run Saturn or not, but X18S ran it really well. So I think there's a good chance it's going to run okay on this. User 1411, $50 shipping, I'm out. Damn. Well, for me, the shipping was free via 4px. So I don't know if you have that option for you, user 1411. But for me, if I selected the 4px shipping option, it was free, and then the express shipping was $30. Magic VPN torrents, I got it as my Saturn, so most of the things people are worried about don't apply to me. I'm also in Southeast. Nice. Hello to a fellow Southeast Asia user. Daryl Edmund Jr., I saw Steam Link on the announcement. Can it play PC? Well, we'll have to find out. They're saying that it can play Moonlight. So a lot of people have said that the Wi-Fi might be a little bit older here. I think it's like 2.4 gigahertz. But again, just going to have to test it. It's hard to say right now. Hey, Russian guy. I think it's Russian. It's in Cyrillic. Vast.tech. Oh, right. That might be a bit of a spam type of message. Martin Holtcam. I bought the bag separately also. Yeah, I bought the bag separately too, which is a bit of a bummer because I wasted $12, and the $12 is important to me. Magic VPN torrents. What do you all want me to do if I get mine a lot sooner because of expedited shipping? I think you should just set up a YouTube channel and just play the thing. That's what I do, really. I think, well, for me, I love playing games on it, so that's what I want to show in my videos, just playing games. And that's what you saw on the Powkitty X18S videos. So you'll see something similar when I get my RG552. GGPH channel, so expensive. Yeah, it is a little bit expensive, but maybe they'll have sales at some point. I do believe they had it a bit higher because of the demand. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's 36,000 views after 3 days. So people are really hyped for this thing. That's a lot of views, honestly. A lot of other, if you go and check other handhelds, they're not getting 36,000 views in 3 days. You can be sure of that. But Anbernic have built up a lot of goodwill with their customers buying their previous handhelds. So therefore, the demand has grown, and there's probably a lot of people that, one, they got the RG351, it's about time for an upgrade, and two, people might have been holding off the last 2 or 3 months, and they've just been getting into this, knowing that there's a new handheld coming out, and also knowing that maybe 3.5 inches isn't really for them, and maybe they want something bigger. And so there's probably a lot of appetite for somebody who, for people who want a 5-inch handheld. Okay. Let me see. Hey, 1411, I'm sure you can find someone to get you the extra $50. Check out our reviews. We'll do after this video finishes. We're almost at the end, 7 minutes. Magic VPN torrents is DIY Game Mods Gym. Oh, right, okay. Alright, well, we'll go to their channel and check out what they have in terms of gameplay. Jeff Wong, how you going? Odin base versus RG552 versus Steam Deck, which would be better? Well, I mean, they're completely different things. Like, all three of them are in different categories for me. I mean, Steam Deck, I would get that if you want PC games. An Odin base is your GameCube level, and RG552 wouldn't play GameCube. So for this, you'd want to play like PSP, because I think that'd be great for this. So think about like, I mean, if you want to play everything and you only want to get one, then you get the Steam Deck because you'd be able to play PSP and GameCube on that. I will be getting a Steam Deck, but it's not available where I am right now. And who knows when it's going to be available. I mean, when they had their Vive VR, that didn't come out in Australia for about a year. So, yeah, it just takes... who knows how long you're going to have to wait until the Steam Deck comes out in your country. So, it is what it is, I guess. If you have the option to get all of them and you can only get one, think about like what you really want to do. That guy, just wait for a local reseller to save on shipping. Yeah, exactly. But on the Anbernic website, it is free shipping from out of China at $227. At least it was for me anyways. It may be different in other countries. The Rancher, looking to take my first step into retro gaming, wanting 70s to 70s, 90s arcade action. Is the 552 a good place to start? 70s, 90s. So then you're talking about like Atari stuff to say Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1 stuff. And PSP is actually after 2000s, right? So that's like 2004, 2005. So this the RG552 would be great for PSP, I think. I haven't tested it yet, but they've tried to show PSP content running on it, like God of War and Tekken. So they're kind of like trying to make the point that they want people to play PSP. And I can sort of see that as well, because their previous console, the RG351, wasn't really strong enough for PSP. It played some, like maybe about 20% of the titles, but really that's only a few titles there. And probably not the titles that you want to play, like God of War, right? So this is really their first proper PSP device. Let me pause that. So then your question is the 552 a good place to start for that type of thing? Well, in terms of processor, there are a lot of other handhelds out there as well, but they're all really different. So you're going to have to go through and look at some of them. I'll give you some options, like for example, if you want to get a smaller size handheld, then maybe you'd go for like an RG351P. Let me go back to this. Okay, so maybe you consider like a RG351P, because that's going to play all of your Super Nintendo stuff really well, perfectly. It can play a lot of PS1 games as well on the RG351P. You're looking at a 3.5-inch screen, whereas on the RG552 you're looking at a bigger screen, which is 5 inches, so it's a lot bigger. But the price difference is, this is $86 for the RG351P, and the RG552 is $226, so it's a lot more expensive. So these are the type of things that you have to consider. There are other handhelds out there. For example, if you just wanted to play from 70s to 90s, like you said, you could think of something like a Retro Pocket 2, which, as you can see, is just $65, but does pretty much the same thing as your RG351P, more or less the same chip inside. This one is $65. I think the shipping could be like $12, $15, something like that. So it probably ends up being more or less the same. What else? There's like Powkiddy stuff as well, so have a look at the Powkiddy stuff too. Okay, whoopsie daisies. Okay, Steam Deck crushes them all day long. Well, yeah, in terms of performance, it would. Daryl Edmund Jr., I saw the God of War video for 8 seconds, RG552, which I can see more. Wish I could see more. Right, exactly. We've had 8 seconds to go by to make our purchasing decision. Not very good. Marcus Cross, I just want to play Pong. there hasn't been a good Pong since the Atari 2600 came along and killed it. I'm pretty sure you could probably just even play that on your on your TV right now. Like if you have a smart TV, you could probably play it on that. Frank Jaeger Fox, we need real info about Retro Pocket 3. 100%. Like seriously, if you think the RG552 is too expensive, the best thing to do is just hold tight for a little bit. There are going to be other handhelds coming. And I didn't actually say this in the video yesterday because I was already running on for way too long. And I'll explain like how sometimes I leave stuff out because when I make the video, it goes too long and then I pretty much just kind of just end it there. But yeah, it was going way too long. And the thing is like, when you get other handheld makers making other handhelds, say like a Retro Pocket 3, which will have probably better performance than the RG552, then that's going to help bring your RG552 price down. So if you really want the RG552, you can also wait and see what happens with the Retro Pocket 3. If it becomes really successful, if RG552 is not selling afterwards, they will lower the price. That's how it works. So I think the other thing is RG552 or Anbernic is also taking advantage of the position that there aren't that many next generation handhelds out, so they're kind of getting theirs out now. I guess for maybe like 10% more than what they're expecting to sell it on later on. So maybe later on it'll be like $200. Magic VPN torrents, LOL. AC film Serpentinia Denga Aza Maghrib Day. I'm not too sure. My Malay is really bad. But yeah, let me know in English. I can't translate it right now. Tim Pogi, which is more powerful PS2 emulator wise, this or Retro Pocket 2 Plus? Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't think either of these are going to run PS2 really well. But that's I guess I'm very serious about running PS2 games. So I'm looking to get a really top of the line Snapdragon so I can run it really well. If you try to run PS2 emulation on this with the new PS2 emulator, Aether SX2, you might get a handful of games. It could be something like 10, it could be 50 games, but it will be something like 5 to 10% of the library running really well. So I don't think if you really want PS2 emulation, it's better off getting a handheld or a mobile that has a better processor. The cooling fan will help play PSP games well. Well, we'll have to see. It's just too hard to say, right? It's just really too hard to say how much the fan will help. Corey Still, I just picked one up, plus I picked up 2 Odin Pros. Oh, nice. 2 Odin Pros. I got an Odin base. Even at that point, I thought it was a little bit expensive with all the shipping and stuff. So Odin base was like $250 in the end. So yeah, pretty expensive. Magic VPN torrents. When people really see what this will do for the entire Saturn catalog, the 552 will be a staple for years. Yeah, I think it should play Saturn. The Rancher, thank you very much. Is it able to connect Bluetooth devices? I gotta dive for that. Let's see if it connects to Bluetooth. All right, here we go. Here are the specs. I don't know if you guys can read that. Okay. What have we got? We've got battery, TF card, charging, power dissipation, other functions. Large diameter silent active heatsink turbofan, HDMI support, Wi-Fi, online games, 3.5mm jack headphone, dual 3D joysticks, dual motors, 30-watt fast charging power adapter, USB charging cable, gift box, user manual. Well, it doesn't say whether it uses Bluetooth, so I I guess your best bet is to probably go to the Anbernic Discord. I'll try and find a link for you in a second. But go and ask in the Anbernic Discord if you're there right now. Can try and go there. Let me try and get that for you. So, and I can't. Oh, here we go. Maybe I can. Tim Poggy, will you be ordering one? Yes, I have one. Or I ordered the RG552, 16 gigabytes in black. Since you already have Odin base, I'm in the fence between this Odin or Odin Pocket 2 Plus. Right, so I'll tell you my thoughts on that. So obviously it's different because I'm running a channel. So running a channel, I thought I would just go and get 3 or 4 of these devices, because then I'd be able to do comparisons. But if I was a fan, I would probably only just buy one. And I would probably just buy the Odin base, because that would probably cover me well enough for all of the games that I wanted to play. So that's what I would have done. If I was just a fan and I only could get one, I would get the Odin base. By the way, I have purchased the Odin base. So it's not like they're paying me or anything. I might be getting a review unit of the RG552, but nothing has been confirmed. What's this? Oh, right. It's a private message. Where are we? Okay. But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, I would probably get the Odin base. If I could only get one. Dot. I don't think this would run PS2 very well. Yeah, I don't think it would either. Even my SD845 phone struggling with Aether SX2. Well, some games work well with the SD845. Yeah, and then there's going to be other games that don't. So I figured that probably wouldn't be the best place. If you wanted to play a lot of PS2 games, the SD845 is really only going to play some of those games. Olivia Valentine, Retro Pocket 2 Plus. Yeah, exactly. That's $100 if you want a 3.5-inch 4x3 display. I think really that is the one to go for. It's just $100. And you're going to be able to play Dreamcast really well. I think PSP, the screen might be a little bit small, at least for me. I would find that a little bit too small. I played PSP on the RG351P anyways, and for me, I would prefer to play it on a bit bigger screen. So it looks really good on the X18S, and I think it's going to be pretty similar on the RG552. Tim Poggy, thank you. No worries. I kind of got lost in my thoughts there. I don't know if I gave you the best answer there, so I apologize for that. Magic VPN, Torrens, you're not thinking it through, dot. Daryl Edmund Jr., where can I buy Odin? Alright, let's do that. Let me show you. Oh yeah, I think I was saying, yeah, I might be getting a review unit for the RG552. So if I do, I will give that second one away, the one that I just purchased. So, but yeah, I figured the RG552, if they're going to give me one, it's kind of like I get 2 for the price of 1 if I get one, and that's really great. So it's kind of like I'm getting it for half price. But yeah, they didn't say anything to me yet. Obviously, they're going to be really busy with the release of this, and they haven't made contact with me. Another reviewer told me that I might get one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they pull through on that, because that would mean that I'd be able to give one away. Right, but true. Custom firmware dev hasn't happened yet for the 552. Aether will end up running like warm butter on the 552. How do you mean? Like, you mean that it's gonna run well? That guy, what a nice guy. Well, See, the thing is like, I it's not that I made of money or anything like that, but I can afford some of these things, but it's still expensive for me. Like seriously, guys, it's still expensive for me. So I guess any time that and I don't feel that comfortable just taking a free product and then reviewing it. So I'm like, okay, well, it would be cool because I know you guys want to see it early, so that's why I want to take it. But at the same time, I don't really just want to take the free stuff, it just feels a bit weird. Olivia Valentine, why hasn't Xiaomi BKK? You're gonna have to let me know who BKK is. I can't think of it at the top of my head. Make any gaming handheld. Any leaks regarding them? Look, Snapdragon have just released something called a Snapdragon G3X, and that's something that they're trying to target handheld devices. I think they see that a lot of people are starting to buy up their Snapdragon processors to put in these handhelds, and they've actually come up with a developer model. And IGN has covered this in a video, so you can go and check out that IGN video. Maybe I'll just play it a little bit later on when I get through these chats. But yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think these companies are going to start to make these type of handhelds. And Lenovo has made, or at least they have a concept called the Lenovo Legion handheld. They just haven't announced anything yet, but people found leaked photos of this. So these big companies are starting to come through with these handhelds. Daryl Edmond Jr., do you trust the website? Which website? Are you talking about Indiegogo? Indiegogo, yes, I trust Indiegogo. Iron Odin, this is their first handheld, so I don't really know, but I back them, and a lot of other people back them as well. Magic VPN torrents, yes, run well. We'll have to see. I think the processor is a little bit old or not performant enough to run Aether SX2, but very happy to be wrong about that, of course. So we'll just have to see. Can you get Happy Chick on RG552? I don't know. Are you talking about the Android Happy Chick game that they put on the X18s? Hang on, I keep clicking on the chat. Sorry. Happy on the X18s they put Happy Chick on. Now I know what you're talking about. I suddenly wasn't 100% sure what that was. But yeah, I don't know. If you really want Happy Chick, maybe get it on the X18s because it comes with that loaded on. Happy Chick is like this software that goes direct to like all of the ROMs and things, so you can play them directly without having to download. And some of them they do download onto your device, but they don't. Yeah, you don't. A lot of the games you don't have to download them. That guy we appreciate, yeah, cool. Johnny Z, I bought the RG552 but already have a GBD Win 3 with the 1165 G7. Was this silly of me to buy? Well, you can always sell it if you don't want it, but it depends, right? Like normally I'm kind of one that just wants to have a few handhelds, but there are other people that want more of them, so I don't think there's anything wrong with having more of them, but again, I prefer like to pace myself out a little bit. I don't want to like get all of them. I'm happy to spend more time. Like the more you get, the less time you can spend on the one that you just got. So that's something you're gonna have to balance. Tim Poggy subbed, by the way. Please continue to share your knowledge and ideas. I hope you get the 552 device. Thanks so much, Tim. Yeah, so with the 552 content, there'll be something similar to what I've done with the Powkitty X18s once I get the 552. So I'll try and play a lot of games on the system and make videos on that. So that's what we'll be doing with that. And then obviously I have the Odin base, so when I get that, that's what we'll do. And I'm looking to get a PS2 emulation mobile. So most likely the SD870 if I can get that, if not the SD860 like a Poco X3 Pro. So we'll have that on the channel as well. So a lot of things to look forward to in this space. Captain Thunderbolt, Johnny Z, I also have a GBD Win 3, but I still bought a GBD XP to play everything from Dreamcast down, just because the Win 3 is overkill for those systems. Okay, wait, so somebody asked about the Odin, right? I think, oh, right, Tim Poggi, I don't know if you've left, but Tim, this is the Odin here. This is what I backed. You can still buy it. I'm sorry it took so long, but here it is. You go to Indiegogo, you type in Odin handheld, and it'll come through. I've got it in Malaysian ringgit here because that's where I'm from. That's where I'm living right now, I should say. And they are just selling it by demand, so you can still buy it. And they have two different models, well, three different models, I should say. Odin Lite, Odin Base, and Odin Pro. The Odin Lite has a Dimensity 900 chip, and you know that's not a bad chip, but it seems as though for GameCube anyway on Dolphin, SD845 performs a little bit better than the Dimensity 900 from what I've seen on videos so far on Taki Udon's channel. So if you haven't, go and check that channel out and go check out all of his Odin content. Then there is also the Odin Pro. Now the Odin base has 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of internal weight. I believe it's 128. Is it 128? Let me have a look. Oh, 64. Okay, so the why don't we just go here? The base and Pro. Okay, so the base has 4 GB of LPDDR4X RAM. The storage is 64 GB of storage, and the Pro is 8 GB of LPDDR4X, and the storage is 128 GB. So for like about $40–50, they're the upgrades you get. Plus, you also get a little bit of a bigger battery as well. The Lite, the only difference there is basically the same as the base, but you get the MediaTek Dimensity D900. But for GameCube, it feels as though that SD845 is a little bit better than that Dimensity D900. You'll still be able to play a lot of GameCube games, and much better than that X18S that I've got on my channel. But if you want the best GameCube performance, it's looking like it's going to be the base and Pro. At least after 2 or 3 months of research, that's what I figured out watching so many videos. And now Olivia was asking about the what? Yeah. Olivia was asking about the handheld. Let's see if they've got that here. We'll play that. Okay. Where are we? Hopefully. My God, they do put up a lot of videos. Oh, here we go. So let's run this.
Sebenarnya saya memang setujulah. Kita tak boleh menilai.
You can check out all the cool Malaysia ads.
2021 has been a...
I'm going to turn the sound off. So I'm just going to let this roll, right? So I can talk over it. I hope you guys don't mind. Is that running? Okay, don't know yet. Whoops, sorry guys. Oh, BKK equals Oppo. Well, I did know that. Where are we? Okay, Vivo, OnePlus, Realme, IQOO. Captain Thunderbolt, Johnny Z, I wanted a lighter handheld with better battery to play my PS1 games. Coalition, yes, Android. Can you get Happy Chick on RG552? Android, right. Yeah, so I don't know if it's installed or not. Johnny Z, thanks for the input. Marcus Cross, woo, the dirtiest player in the game is back and ready to chat. Y'all miss me. Welcome back. Olivia Valentine, trust me, I bought a Razer Kishi to pair with my 888. Ooh, that's nice. I rarely play with it that way. But then how do you play it then? You just go with the touchscreen controls to play emulated games? Because I feel like I have to get a controller. It will either be the Razer Kishi or the GameSir X2. And I'm kind of leaning towards the GameSir X2 because it's cheaper. And I think it would suffice. Let me know what your thoughts are with the Razer Kishi in the chat. Tim Poggy's still here. Off topic, what's your favorite RPG? That's a really tough one because right now, my favorite JRPG is Dragon Quest XI. I absolutely love that game, but I haven't had time to finish it off because it's so long. But if we go back, it's kind of Final Fantasy X, which I'm a little bit embarrassed about because I think time hasn't been that kind to Final Fantasy X because it's been used in a lot of memes and things. But I had a great experience with Final Fantasy X when I first played it. I was totally blown away. And honestly, some people may say Final Fantasy VII, but I wasn't there for that generation, so I don't know. I really came in at the PS2 era because that was when I first got a job and I was able to afford my own consoles. So PS2 was where it started for me. And then before that, I was, down at the arcades with my friends and playing PC games. And then before that, when I was a kid, I had a Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. So Final Fantasy X was really when I started to play RPGs or JRPGs. I like both Western and Japanese, but I probably finished more Japanese RPG games. Final Fantasy X is probably the one that I remember the most, though I'm not sure if I would put it as my favorite anymore. But that's the one that automatically comes to the top of my head when people ask, like, what's your favorite RPG? Because I just had such a good time playing it. And for the longest time, that was my favorite PS2 game. Probably still is, really. Like, his favorite PS2 game is probably Final Fantasy X, Silent Hill 2, SSX 3, Pro Evolution Soccer 3. That's just kind of like what I played the most back then. Okay, so I meant a dedicated handheld is way better. Oh, right, of course. And that is why I prefer dedicated handhelds as well. But because with PS2 needing a much stronger processor, there really is not that much choice left. You either wait for, like, say, an Odin 2 or an Odin 3 to come out with, like, an SD888, or you have to get a flagship Android phone and get a telescopic controller. So, I mean, there's not that much choice in terms of getting PS2. Like maybe in a year's time, but it depends, like whether people want to wait a year to play handheld PS2. And I think for me, because I'm also running a channel as well, I think it's time for me, like, to try out handheld PS2. I had a GPD Win 2 and for about a month or so before I sold it, and I did get a few PS2 games up and running, and it was awesome. But yeah, I haven't had a handheld PS2 for like about 3 years, I think. I think that's when it came out. So I feel like I had that urge again. When I got the GPD Win 2, that was one of the biggest things, to be able to play PS2 on a handheld. Okay, where are we? But yeah, Olivia, I totally agree, right? Like, that for me, I like dedicated handheld like this, like the Odin. And I much prefer it that way. If they didn't come out with the Aether SX2, I probably wouldn't be getting a flagship Android and telescopic controller. I would just keep making do with the Odin, and then the next thing I would get would be the Steam Deck. But I have no idea when the Steam Deck is going to come out. And also, like, the Steam Deck is just way bigger than a mobile with a controller. So you know, there's different use cases there. I think the Steam Deck, I'm just going to be playing that in bed all the time. I don't think I'm even going to take it out of the house. Magic VPN torrents, Kishi is overkill. Karthik Murali, if they make it with 3.5 inch as well, then I will buy it as it's more portable. Are you talking about the RG552? They may well do, but I think because it's got a big fan, they're not going to use the Rockchip 3399. So if you want something like that, it makes more sense to just go for a Retro Pocket 2. And that IGN video just finished, so let me just put something else up. I want to, maybe you guys have seen this, but I don't. People were saying that these devices were really niche. Well, Linus did this video back in July, and I think that kind of just broke through the mainstream barrier because he made this video, and I think a lot of people started to take interest in these Anbernic devices, these other handhelds. So this video has got 1 million views, so everybody knows about this type of thing. So I don't think they're really that niche anymore. And that's why Anbernic has such a big following, and that's why Anbernic with that RG552 video got 36,000 views. That's a lot of views for a niche device. Okay, Coalition, dude, they need to remake FFX. Yeah, I quite like the story. There are some a bit cringy, iffy moments there. I haven't actually gone back to play it since like 20 years ago, because I won't say it's not aged well, but yeah, it's a little bit cringier than what it was before. But at the time, I really liked it. The story's great, and the final 20-30 hours is really good. Zazuko, how you going, my friend? How you going? Nice to see you here. How's that X18S going? Or have you moved on to the RG552? If you have, because I think you were in RG552 Discord, in the Discord, so maybe I'll see you there. We'll all be migrating there. But yeah, I'm still enjoying the X18S. Played a little bit less because I just did so much testing on it. So yeah, still using it for like PSP stuff, because that's what I like it for. Magic VPN torrents, no real benefits. I agree with Olivia. Captain Thunderbolt, FFX is such a comfy game. Spira feels like home to me. Yeah, so the thing with FFX is like I bought FFX 2 on PS2 and I played like a couple of hours of it. And then I bought it on Vita and I played a couple of hours. Oh, sorry. I bought it on Steam and it wouldn't work on the GPD Win 2. And the funniest thing is like FFX and FFX2 is a double pack on Steam. And so FFX works on the GPD Win 2 and FFX2 didn't work. Something wrong with like the Intel GPU drivers. So super annoying, like, and you can't even refund it after you played a couple of hours, right, on Steam. So got stuck with that. Then I ended up buying FFX2 on Vita and didn't end up playing it. So that's kind of like my story with like buying games. I buy something and then kind of like don't play them. My completion rate, like in the last, because you know, being an adult, having family and all of this sort of thing, you end up not having much time to play them, but you kind of want to play them. Olivia Valentine, this video you're showing Snapdragon G3X Gen 1 is too strong. Yeah, so inside that handheld, I believe, is Gen 3X. So they're touting this as like, oh, you can stream on this thing, but I believe it'll probably be quite strong anyways. So it's not the G1X in that handheld. That we're talking about that Snapdragon handheld that in that IGN video that I showed earlier. So I think in that is just G3X. But the G1X is like their flagship, and that's going to be like 20% better than the current Snapdragon. It's going to be 60% better in terms of Vulkan GPU. I actually think that's going to be really useful for Aether SX2. I think that's going to be really great. Of course, it's going to be really expensive. So maybe, who knows, like maybe a couple of years down the line, it'll be like the mid-tier chip, and then PS2 will run really great. But I think PS2 runs pretty well on that SD870 now anyways. Okay, Marcus Cross, I play GameCube games on the Samsung Fold using an 8-bit Do controller. Nice. Sub-Zero, I've got an Odin Lite, a Super, and a couple of Retroid Pocket 2 Plus because I want seamless PSP Dreamcast across the board. So, what's the Super? Are you talking about the Odroid Go Super? Is that what you've got? The Odin Lite is pretty cool. I really like that. I almost got the Odin Lite because I didn't really want to stretch for that Odin Pro. It was really hard decision. I think I must have at least taken like 2 weeks to decide which Odin to get. I honestly, when it's like that, you can't really go wrong whichever one you get. So I think they're all going to be pretty good. It's really just down to the build quality now once we get it in our hands. Magic VPN torrents 888s will drop drastically within a year, but like it or not, phones are phones. Yeah. Daryl Edmund Jr., why are the prices different on the Iron Odin on that website? Oh, they're in ringgit, so that's why it's different. But if you select down the bottom, like you're from the US, it will go to US dollars. Suzuko, I'm fine, thanks. Suzuko, I'm undecided yet. Yep. Sub-Zero, Linus probably introduced me to Anbernic months ago. Yeah, this video is from July, so it's ages ago. But I only really saw this like a couple of months later. Recently, he's been showcasing Linux like no other, something that's also a positive for ARM-based gaming. Yeah, at some point, we really have to move to Linux. I'd like to, just, you know, because Windows is great. Like, I don't have a problem with Windows. Obviously, if you have problems, you have a problem on Windows, it's super annoying because you go and type it in Google and then you get this really obtuse answer from like the Windows help forum, which is really annoying to go through. And it half the time doesn't even solve your problem. But Linux is kind of like, it's almost like everything runs fine now, and then you have to kind of go and learn something new. But yeah, we just have to put aside some time to go and learn Linux, because I think that'd be really cool, actually. It'll almost be like the first days of computing, like when you first got like Windows 3.1 or Windows 95, that type of thing, and you're trying to learn it all again, or when you had DOS. I think that would be super cool. So I want to get into Linux at some point as well. But so busy at the moment, like with testing all of these devices, so it's probably not going to happen for a few months. Have you done the X18S mods to improve buttons? Okay, so I did not, because for me, the sticks, I think the Vita sticks and the X18S sticks are fairly close, in my opinion, that if I'm just swapping them out, there are some positives to the X18S sticks and there's some positives to the Vita sticks, and so I think it's more or less a push. It's not a definite upgrade, if you get my drift. Now the face buttons I think are okay, so that's why I didn't do the face buttons. So that kind of leaves just the D-pad, which I think does need to be fixed. But I don't really want to, I can't be bothered to open it just for D-pad, because knowing that I'll probably want to mod the other things as well. But you know, modding is always something that if you use something long enough, then I think it's worth it to, you'll eventually get to a point where you feel like you want to mod it. So that's always been the case with me. With anything, like the more you use something, the more you want to get into it, and then the more you will find out about it. So it's something that will just happen naturally for me. So I didn't want to just do it right at the start. If I want to mod it later on, then I will just naturally do so. Okay, Magic VPN torrent, Suzuko, just get one as the community will improve the use cases of 552. Joel, Texera, still waiting. My RG351MP arrived to replace RG351V. 552 looks gorgeous, but I got mixed feelings about it. Yeah, I think, you know, if it's something like that, then you can always wait for the reviews to decide. You'll see more of it, because right now we're working off like 8-second, 10-second videos. We had that 7-minute video from Anbernic, but they didn't play any games at all. So yeah, just wait and see how it plays games. Okay, Olivia Valentine, Retro Pocket 2 Plus can play PS2, GameCube. So PS2 probably not, although some people are saying that you can probably push that T310 processor to play a handful of games. So you can probably get through like maybe 5%, 10% of the library. Hard to say how many for now. Some people have started to test it out. I know someone has tested this out on the X18S, which will be very similar to that Retro Pocket 2 Plus. So for PS2, some games, handful of games, but not for anyone who's serious about playing all the PS2 games. Now GameCube, you can play quite a fair bit of the GameCube. It'll be something similar to X18S, maybe a touch less, but for GameCube on the X18S, it was about like 50-60% of the library. Sub-Zero Eek, I mean Odin Pro, not Odin Super. Okay, I was thinking about the Odin Super dock. Okay, gotcha. Suzuko, Magic Von Torrents. I know I'm part of those communities, but I'm undecided because of the price tag. I got X18S and GBD XP, and both are better in any way. Yeah, I understand, because like if it was me, I wouldn't get that many handhelds. I would just roll with like 1 or 2. Marcus Cross, I hope it's got enough power to run Minesweeper. Yeah, well, you know what? I hope it runs Minesweeper without turning the fan on. Let's see how it goes with that. But see Anthony here, he's got the Odroid Go Super. I think that's pretty interesting. It looks very similar to the RG552 actually. And he's actually saying that the D-pad there, it feels like nothing. So the D-pad isn't that great on that Odroid Go Super anyway. So I think the X18S is a little bit similar to that. Sub-Zero, I agree with the above point about Linux. It would be like those days if we're learning it the right way. Yeah, you know, I had books and you'd get that dummy guide for MS-DOS, that type of thing. So we had all of that for our family. And I thought that was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do stuff like that. And I have a Raspberry Pi. And this is the thing about Linux, is like when I got the Raspberry Pi, I thought it was easy, but it was a little bit harder than I thought. So it felt like I really needed to give more time to actually learn how to use the Raspberry Pi, and I still haven't done that yet. Suzuko, no, because it's Windows only. Victor Emily, how you going? Good morning to you. So oh, right, you've answered it for me. So Suzuko, hey there, Victor. Victor, I will skip RG552. We'll keep with Retro Pocket 2 Plus, X18S, and maybe an Odin. Okay, so you haven't got the Odin yet. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty nice selection you got there, the Retro Pocket 2 Plus, X18S. Really interesting to see what people are going for. I decided to pick up the RG552. So I may be getting like a review unit, so I figured, well, I was going to get one anyway. I was going to get one because a lot of people are interested in the RG552, so I wanted to do some testing on that anyway. So yeah, so I was going to get that. I've already got an Odin coming through, the Odin base, and I will get a mobile, probably a Snapdragon 870, which is the Poco F3. We'll see what the prices are like when it goes on sale. I'm waiting for the 12th of the 12th for the 12/12 sales. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. So that will cover me for the next couple of months of content. Magic VPN torrents. I'm still getting an X18S Zuko because also want a clamshell. Certainly the 552 will end up surprising most people who pass on it. Yep. I've just received an answer from Anbernic that RG552 doesn't contain Bluetooth function. Nice. Thank you for that. If you wouldn't mind, could you please put in the chat how you pronounce your name, because that would be really useful for me if I read your message out as well. But thank you for doing that. So now we know that RG552 doesn't have Bluetooth. Magic VPN, I hope you're right. Chinese name, if you're right, and there is no Bluetooth, I'll personally fly to China and have a chat with Anbernic. Well, just use Zoom. I think it'll be easier, I think. Daniel Neubauer, hello. Linux, does that mean we can get some indie Steam games to run? Yes, it does. Because I got Stardew Valley to run on the RG351, so you'll be able to do that on the RG552 with that Linux. They give you Linux on a micro SD card. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but I'll probably just end up throwing whatever the community puts on there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, ArcOS, that's the one that I like. Hopefully they'll put something on the RG552. I think they will, given how much demand there is for this handheld. Linux, okay. Olivia, I hate that Odin is using a rubberized finish. It will get sticky like crazy. It's really interesting because like I can't even tell based on the videos like what type of finish it is. So that's why I've been saying the build quality is undecided for me. I can't tell until I actually get that handheld in person. To tell you the truth, like the Switch Lite, which I really like the look of and the design of, you can kind of tell that the finish on the Switch Lite isn't something that is premium feeling. It almost feels like they cheaped out a little bit, but it's still pretty good, but it definitely feels a little bit cheaped out on that on the Switch Lite. That's how I feel anyway. And you put the Anbernic RG351 up against the Switch Lite. I actually like the feeling of the RG351 textured finish on that RG351 over the Switch Lite. So yeah, I don't know how that Odin is going to go with the feel of it at the end, which is important. Okay, so this video is about to finish. So there's still a lot of people here, but it's my dinner time. We've got a lot of people here, my goodness. I hope you're really excited about the RG552. As I said earlier in the chat, and sorry, I keep going to this because I need to check some stuff, the chat and things like that. Sorry about that. But I'm running with one screen at the moment, which is really annoying. Next time I'll run with two screens, but I'm at home at the moment. But if you didn't catch before, yeah, I already purchased my RG552 when it went on sale. It was 6 o'clock my time, a couple of hours ago. We'll have a look at the website and see if they have sold out in just a second after this video plays through. Oh wait. So yeah, I got mine. I'll be getting it. I'll be testing it for the channel. I'll make videos playing games on it. If you haven't already subbed to my channel, make sure you do that so you get that content. And we're just going through the chat. And so I'm probably going to finish up in like about 10 minutes so I can have dinner. It's such a shame because this is my biggest audience so far. So thank you very much for making this a great live stream. But also we don't really want to go for that long anyways, because like a really long stream, nobody comes back and watches it later on. So, and the other thing is I don't often stream at this time. I usually stream at about 10 p.m. my time. 10 a.m. my time. 10 a.m. my time, and right now 6 p.m. my time. When I started, it's 8 p.m. now. So because it's such a big audience, maybe I have to come back at this time at some point in the future. So this is really interesting. And it's also a, Monday night, which is just insane. And this Monday morning for you guys as well. So maybe you're out at work or whatever, and you're catching up on the stream. And that's really awesome that you guys are here and watching that on a Monday morning. Okay, so that's finished, and we're gonna go for another 11 minutes. So if you have any other questions, get them through into the chat right now in the next 5 minutes, and I'll end the chat. Oh, sorry, I'll end the live stream in about 10 minutes. Okay, so where are we? In his hands, Linus doesn't seem to have the Anbernic quality. Almost seems like an RGB 10 Max loose buttons. You mean the Odroid Go Super? Okay, where are we? Where are we going to finish up? We'll probably finish up with my face. So let's do that. Okay. So yeah, so guys, we're going to finish up in about 10 minutes. And yeah, because there's so many people at this time, I'm gonna just have to do it again, right? At this time. So I hope you guys are excited about your RG552. And I think the content is gonna start rolling in like, you know, a couple of weeks. So let me see if I get everything. Yeah, I might end up buying for making content, but I've got to hold myself. Yeah, exactly. Like, these things aren't cheap anymore. It's like $200. It's not like they're like $60, $100, and you can just buy it as an impulse buy and make videos on it. Yeah, they start to add up after a while. So I've kind of chosen the ones that I want to get. We'll make sure to check your videos out. Thank you so much. Joel, Jim, regarding your first impressions from specs page, does it still unclear about Wi-Fi? Well, it says it has Wi-Fi, and they've advertised Moonlight streaming. I don't think it said Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz, but a lot of people in Discord chats have said so. So yeah, it has Wi-Fi. Okay, T1 Billion X looking to get the RG552 and the Odin Pro. Nice. Magic VPN torrents, thanks Jim, great stream, no problems. Brad Campbell, I literally just bought my first retro handheld, the 351p, now they are saying this bad boy is coming. Okay, some people have said that. I bought my 351p about 3 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, and this is a classic, guys. The 351p is a classic, one of my favorite handhelds since I've gotten it. You won't be disappointed to have this in your collection. 2 or 3 years later, you'll still look back and it'll still be amazing. So I wouldn't even worry about, you know, spending $80, $90 on the 351p. Mark's Apollo, it's an interesting device and looks good in black. We'll be keen to see the performance and quality of the device. Yep, yeah, we shall see soon. Joel, congrats man, great live session, thank you. Electro Arcade just added 41 to my cart and worked. Looks like a fair bit of stock left. Oh my goodness. Did you really? Nice. Good work there, Electro Arcade. Captain Thunderbolt, later bro. Yep, see you later. We're about to head off. And this live stream will be available. It'll be on the channel, so you can, if you missed the start, then you can just go back and watch it later on. Told everyone it would be a big tech week. Nearly no one believed me. Well, exactly. You know, Halo Infinite, the single player mode, is going to be dropping, what, in 2 days time. I will probably be playing it if I have some spare time. And just to see, like, you know, how Halo has improved. The last time I played Halo was Halo 3, because I didn't have Xbox One, yeah, Xbox One and Xbox Series. So, and now it's on PC. Yeah, I figured, well, you know, it's new, maybe I'll give it a go. Okay, but yeah, big tech week. Electro Arcade had a ton of people bagging out the 552 on Facebook, but think they underestimate the finished quality. Well, I think maybe because they just see the price, It's a bit more expensive than previously, so maybe that is why. But yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. You just have to look at the views on YouTube to see that this is getting like 3-4x number of views than a lot of other handhelds. Like I could push out a Powkiddy X18S video tomorrow and I'll get under 1,000 views. But if I make a RG552 video, like yesterday, I made a RG552 video and it had 5,000 views, so like 5x. You know, and I put a ton more work into the X18S video, like I got to test the thing and all that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a lot more demand for the Anbernic than the other handhelds. Tim Poggy Dinner Time, same. Electro Arcade, yeah, it's 2.4 gigahertz. Dot, do you thank you for that, Electro Arcade, for clarifying that it's 2.4. Dot, do you still think it's worth getting 351p now? Well, it really depends what you want, because like for me, I would, and I'm not just saying that because, you know, I'm like trying to help Anbernic or whatever. I'm like completely independent of them. Like 351p, it's right up there. Like for me, it's right up there as one of the best little handhelds that you can get. It just does so much. It does so much. Like you can play PS1s, Super Nintendo, and they all look great because it wasn't the time where you needed such a big screen for that to see everything anyways. Like maybe later on with like a PS2 or PS3 and the text sizes get smaller and all that, then you'll need a bigger screen to see everything. But with all of the retro games and them being handheld games that you're playing on it, like GBA games, they just play great on that screen. Game Boy Advance looks amazing on the 351p. If you want to replace your Game Boy Advance, I wouldn't even worry about, unless you're absolute stickler for like getting the original device. I think it plays better than the original Game Boy Advance anyway, so, and you'll have a much better time playing it on the 351p. So for 80-90 bucks, I think the 351p, I'm really glad to have one in my collection to use. But again, of course, if you are only buying one to try and cover all of your emulation gaming, then maybe you should consider like the current generation, which is like X18S, the Retro Pocket 2 Plus, the one that just came out, the RG552, and then things that are going to be coming out later on, like the Retro Pocket 3, the Odin, the KTR, that type of thing. So yes, you probably should get the next generation or current generation. But I still have a soft spot for that 351p. The other thing is that in terms of performance, if you care about performance, then no, I wouldn't get that 351p, and I would probably go for that Retro Pocket 2 Plus because it's going to play you Dreamcast better. I think that's worth getting those Dreamcast games over the, I guess, the form factor of the 351p. So there's just my thoughts. I don't even have a Retro Pocket 2 Plus, but I think most people would probably take those Dreamcast games. Okay, where are we at? We've got 3 minutes left, so let's keep it. Let's try and get through all of these messages. Will it be powerful enough to play PS2? Probably not. Play a handful of games, but that's about it. And yeah, not very many at all. Daniel Neubauer, I wish PS2 would be possible with this. Well, they will just come out with something later on. But if you want PS2, I would even, if you're serious about PS2, I would even go as far as to say you would need something stronger than the Odin. You would want to get like a mobile device with a Snapdragon 860, 870, that type of thing, if you're serious about PS2. Otherwise, if you have the Odin, there'll be some games that you'll have to fiddle around with to try to get them to run. Maybe your favorite games won't work. And so, yeah, you'll be left playing like half the library. But again, I haven't tested Aether SX2, so I really don't know. That's my gut feeling on that. Magic VPN torrents, get MP instead because it's marked down now. Okay. Danielle, I've a PSP and looking to upgrade to an Odin or a RG552. I have a PS. Which one should I get up to PS2? You mean you want to play PS2 games? Because do you want to play PS2 games? I think neither of them will really play PS2 games. The Odin will play you way more PS2 games. The Odin is way stronger than the RG552, no question. You're in the RG552 because you want to play PSP games on it. You really like the form factor of it, and yeah, $200 to play PSP games. That's what you're in it for. Should I go with the Odin Pro or is the Lite good? They're really close, actually. The Pro or the base will get you more GameCube games, will run a little bit better. So if money is not a factor, then the base and Pro will have better performance than that Lite. Daniel, they don't understand the coming custom firmware. Haha, just ran a simulation buying 51 USD shipping costs. Oh really? So yeah, for me it was free shipping on 4PX, and then express shipping was $29. But yeah, obviously it's going to be different everywhere around the world. Magic VPN torrents. This is the last chat, so we're going to finish it off here. Get over $51. Okay, we're going to end it here. It's such a shame. We've got like 50 people watching here. I'm super excited that there's so many people watching the live stream. Guys, make sure you're all subscribed to the channel so you get RG552 content. And that's going to do it for this stream. Had a great time chatting with you guys. You guys really kept it alive in there in the chats, and I had a lot of fun. One more message. Let's just do this one. Danielle, would you recommend buy Odin Bird? Sorry. Would you recommend buy Odin Early Bird now? Well, I don't think there's any more Early Bird because they're in demand shipping. So the Indiegogo campaign is over now, but they will. You can still order one through their Indiegogo website, and then they will ship it to you a little bit later than the people who purchased it during the Indiegogo campaign. So Indiegogo, they initially said it was November, but it's probably going to be like December, January now. And so we're looking at, like, if you order it now for in demand, it's probably going to be like February sometime or March. Steve Riz, thank you. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching the live stream. We'll be back with another live stream. Not exactly sure when, but really soon, because I love doing these live streams. And as always, keep a lookout on my channel for more gaming content. But that's going to do it for this one. Have a good day. Have a good night wherever you are. Thanks for watching.